Reach into your refrigerator right now. Open that crisper drawer, pull out the bag of onions you bought 2 weeks ago. Go ahead, I'll wait. Now look at them. Really look. There's one that's gone soft on the bottom, another one's sprouting a little green shoot through the skin, and the one in the back, don't touch that one. That one's leaking. This happens every single time. Every kitchen in America, you buy a 5-pound bag of yellow onions from the grocery store, you put them somewhere, the counter, the pantry, the fridge, and within 3 weeks, half of them are garbage. Soft, slimy, sprouting, or just plain gone. And you've accepted this. You've accepted it the way you accept traffic or bad airport coffee. It's just how onions work, right? Wrong. 300 miles from the nearest Whole Foods in Lancaster County, Pennsylvania, there's a woman in a plain blue dress standing in a root cellar with dirt floors and no electricity. No refrigerator, no climate control, no vacuum sealer, no fancy storage bins from Amazon. And she's pulling out an onion she harvested last August. It's February. The onion is perfect, firm, dry, not a single soft spot. She'll use it tonight in a cast iron skillet, and tomorrow she'll pull another one, and next month she'll pull another one, and she won't run out until June. 10 months. From harvest to the last onion, without electricity. Meanwhile, you can't keep one alive for 3 weeks in a $2,000 refrigerator. Now here's the thing. She's not doing anything magical. She's not using a secret Amish formula or some old world trick that died with the pioneers. She's doing 7 things. 7 specific, repeatable steps between the moment that onion comes out of the ground and the moment it goes into storage. Skip 1 step and the onion rots by Christmas. Skip 2 and it rots by Thanksgiving. Get all 7 right and it lasts until the following summer. And the first thing you need to understand is this. The Amish don't store onions. They prepare onions for storage. That's not wordplay. That's the whole difference. Everything you've been doing wrong starts with skipping the preparation. You pull onions and put them somewhere. They pull onions and spend 3 weeks getting them ready. And that gap, those 3 weeks you didn't know existed, is the gap between an onion that lasts 10 months and an onion that turns to mush in your crisper drawer by October. There's a 2-second test they do with their fingers that separates onions that will store for 10 months from onions that won't last 10 days. We'll get to that. There's a reason your refrigerator is the single worst place in your house to keep an uncut onion. We'll get to that too. And there's a chain reaction that happens when one bad onion sits next to a good one. A chain reaction that can destroy an entire winter's supply in a single week. We're definitely getting to that. 7 steps, $0. And the difference between onions in March and onions in the compost by November, step 1 starts in the dirt, step 1 starts in the dirt, and most people get it wrong before the onion ever leaves the ground. There's a moment in late July or early August when something changes in your onion patch. The green tops, the long stalks shooting up from each bulb start to bend. They don't break, they don't wilt. They fold over at the neck like they're taking a bow. And when roughly half of them have done this, not all of them, not a few of them, but about half, that's your signal. The onion is telling you it's done. This is not a guess. This is biology. When the top falls over, the plant has stopped sending energy into the leaves and started sealing itself for dormancy. The neck, that narrow tube connecting the bulb to the stalk, begins to close. Pull at 50% and you catch every onion at its peak. The ones still standing will finish in the next few days on the surface. Pull too early and the skin is thin, the layers are watery, and the neck hasn't started closing. That onion will never cure properly. It'll be soft in a month. Pull too late and you've got a different problem. The bulb starts rerooting. The outer skin cracks. In wet weather, rot gets a head start while the onion is still sitting in mud. The Amish don't check their onion patch once a week in late summer, they check it every day. They're watching for that 50% mark the way a pilot watches the altimeter, because the window is narrow. A few days in either direction, and you've already lost storage time before the onion even hits the barn. Your job isn't to decide when it's time. The plant decides, you listen. But pulling them out of the ground is just the beginning. Because what happens over the next 3 weeks is the single most important step in this entire process. And almost nobody in modern America does it. Here's what most people do after they pull an onion out of the ground. They shake off the dirt, maybe rinse it with a hose. Then they bring it inside and toss it in the pantry or the fridge. And that onion is already dead, it just doesn't know it yet. Curing is the step that separates every successful food preservation tradition from every suburban kitchen that throws away half its produce. And it's the step almost no one does anymore, because it takes time. 3 weeks. And we don't do 3 weeks anymore, we do 3 minutes or we move on. Here's what the Amish do. After pulling, they lay every onion right there on the soil, roots up, in direct sun, for 1 to 2 days. They flip them once. The sun starts baking the outermost skin and drying the root hairs. Then they move the whole batch to a covered area with airflow. A porch, a barn aisle, a garage with the door cracked open. They spread them in a single layer, not touching, and they leave them there for 2 to 3 weeks. What happens during those weeks is this. The outer layers of skin turn papery. They go from damp and flexible to dry and crackling under your fingers. The roots shrivel into brittle threads, and the neck, that narrow tube at the top, dries completely, tightens, and seals shut. Stay with me for a second. Think of the neck as an open wound. When you first pull the onion from the ground, the neck is still alive, still moist, still a direct channel from the outside air straight into the soft flesh of the bulb. Every bacterium, every mold spore, every moisture droplet in the air can travel down that neck and into the onion's interior. Curing closes that wound permanently. An onion with a sealed neck is a locked door. An onion with a moist neck is a door propped open with a welcome mat for every pathogen in the room. Skip this step and the onion rots in 4 to 6 weeks, guaranteed, no exceptions. The neck stays open, moisture gets in. Bacteria follow, do it right, and you've bought yourself the better part of a year. But how do you know if the cure actually worked? How do you tell a sealed onion from one that looks fine on the outside but never fully closed? 2 seconds, that's all it takes. Pick up the onion, put your thumb and forefinger around the neck, the narrow part at the top where the stalk used to be. Squeeze. If the neck is papery, tight, and dry, if there's no give, no softness, no hint of moisture under your fingers, that onion is sealed. It will store. Set it aside. If the neck is soft, spongy, or even slightly damp, that onion failed. It didn't cure. Use it this week, cook it tonight, dice it and freeze it, but do not put it in long-term storage because it will rot and it won't rot quietly. This is the skill the Amish teach their kids the way a doctor teaches a med student to check a pulse. You do it firmly, you do it quickly, you do it to every single onion, no exceptions. And after one harvest season, your fingers know the difference before your brain finishes thinking about it. Now comes triage. After the neck check, you've got 3 piles. Pile 1, perfect onions, thin neck, fully cured, papery skin intact, no nicks, no cuts, no splits, no doubles. These are your soldiers. These go into long-term storage and nowhere else. Pile 2, thick-necked onions. These are usually your biggest, most impressive bulbs. They look like winners. But that fat neck never fully closed. They taste fantastic. They'll last maybe through November, possibly December, but they won't see spring. Eat them first. or dice them, blanch them, bag them, and freeze them. Pile 3. Damaged. Nicks, cuts, torn skin, soft spots, eat these within the week or compost them. They're done. The Amish sort like a quartermaster loading a supply truck. What's battle ready goes to storage. What's not goes to the kitchen now. No sentiment. No, maybe this one's fine. If there's doubt, it goes in the eat first pile. Because the rule that governs everything from this point forward is a paradox. You've got these perfect, firm, healthy onions, and the absolute worst thing you can do with them is let them touch each other. You'd think firm, dry, perfectly cured onions could sit together in a bin. They look bulletproof, feels like nothing could go wrong, but moisture migrates slowly, invisibly, through skin-to-skin contact. One onion sweats even a tiny amount. The moisture travels to the next one. That onion's outer layer softens. Bacteria find the soft spot. And now you've got a chain reaction that started with contact and ended with a crate full of mush. The Amish solved this 3 different ways, and every single one is built on the same principle. Air between every bulb. Method 1. Newspaper. Line a wooden crate or cardboard box with newspaper. Place onions in a single layer, each one an inch or 2 apart, not touching. Lay another sheet of newspaper on top. Another layer of onions. More newspaper. Stack as high as you want. The paper absorbs stray moisture and prevents skin-to-skin contact. Simple, cheap, works. Method 2. Mesh bags. The old-fashioned open-weave net bags like the ones your grandmother used to hang from a hook in the pantry. 1 onion per pocket of the mesh. Hang the bags from ceiling joists, rafters, or nails in the wall. Maximum airflow on every surface of every bulb. Nothing touches anything. Method 3. And this one is worth pausing on. Braiding. If you've got soft neck onions with long, flexible, dried tops, you braid them. 3 onions at the base. Weave the dried stems together like hair. Every few inches, add another onion to each strand. Keep going. Tie off at the top with a piece of twine. Hang from a rafter, a porch beam, a nail in the cellar wall. Picture an Amish kitchen in September, 30 braids hanging from the ceiling. Golden, papery, each one a chain of 8 or 10 onions, swaying slightly when someone walks past. By December, 25 braids left. By March, 15. By June, 5. That's not decoration. That's the calendar of their year, measured in onions. And every single onion in those braids has air on all sides. Nothing touching, nothing trapping, moisture, nothing giving rot a place to start. But separation is only half the equation. Because even a perfectly braided onion hung in the wrong room will sprout, soften, and fail. And the room most Americans reach for first, the one with the compressor and the little light that turns on when you open the door, fails in 4 different ways at once. An onion needs 4 things from its storage environment: cool, dry, dark, ventilated. Get all 4, and it survives. Miss one, and you're losing months off its life. Cool means 32 to 40 degrees Fahrenheit, cold enough to slow the onion's internal metabolism to a crawl. Not cold enough to freeze the cells and turn the flesh to mush. A root cellar sits in this range naturally year-round. An unheated basement works. A garage in winter works as long as temperatures don't dip below freezing overnight. Dry means 60 to 70% humidity. And this is where something critical comes in. Potatoes need 85 to 95% humidity. Onions need the opposite. Store them in the same bin, the same shelf, even the same corner of the basement, and you're creating a war. The moisture potatoes release is the moisture that kills onions, and both produce ethylene gas, which accelerates spoilage in the other. Your grandmother told you to keep them apart. She was right. They're chemically sabotaging each other. Dark means dark, not a dim corner. Dark. Light triggers a hormonal response in the onion that signals spring. time to sprout. Even ambient light from a basement window can start the process. The Amish use cellars with no windows. If yours has one, block it. Ventilated means the air moves. Still air traps moisture and ethylene around the bulbs like a blanket. A small vent, a cracked window, a box fan on a timer running 15 minutes every few hours. The air doesn't need to blast, it just needs to circulate. Now, your refrigerator. Check this out. The crisper drawer runs 80 to 90% humidity. Onions need 60 to 70. It's a sealed compartment with no airflow. Onions need ventilation. Every time you open the door, the temperature swings, condensation forms on cold surfaces, and that moisture lands directly on your onion skins. And if there's a bag of potatoes on the next shelf, you've just built the perfect environment for both of them to destroy each other simultaneously. The refrigerator is for using onions. You cut one in half, wrap it in plastic, put it in the fridge, use it within 3 or 4 days. That's the job. It is not for storing whole, uncut onions. The Amish don't have a refrigerator, and their onions last 10 times longer than yours. That's not a coincidence. That's a clue. But even the perfect cellar with perfect conditions doesn't run on autopilot. Onions are still alive in storage, still metabolizing, still changing. And every 2 weeks, something in that cellar demands your attention. Ignore it, and one bad bulb can take down 6 good ones in 7 days. The Amish woman who walks through her root cellar every 2 weeks isn't being cautious. She's being surgical. She's running a quarantine. Every 14 days, she picks up every onion. She squeezes, she smells, she looks. Soft spot? Out. Moisture beating on the skin? Out. Green shoot pushing through the top? Out. Off smell, even faintly? Out. No second chances. No, let's see how it looks next week. Any onion showing the first sign of trouble gets pulled immediately and goes straight to the kitchen counter. Here's why. A rotting onion releases moisture. That moisture collects on the skin of its neighbors. The outer layer softens. Bacteria colonize the damp spot. Within a week, one rotting onion has seeded infection in 5 or 6 bulbs around it. Chain rot. And chain rot is exponential. 6 becomes 18. 18 becomes the whole crate. A winter's worth of onions gone in a matter of days because nobody walked through and pulled the first one. The bi-weekly check breaks the chain before it starts. You catch number 1 before it ever reaches number 2. You know what's crazy? The entire system, all 7 steps, costs nothing. No equipment, no electricity, no special containers. The only investment is attention. Attention at harvest. Attention during curing. Attention during sorting. And attention every 2 weeks in the cellar. But there's one factor that determines your success before any of these steps even begin. And most people don't think about it until it's too late. Variety. Not all onions were built for long storage. Sweet onions, your Vidalias, your Walla Wallas, your Maui sweets, they taste incredible. But their high sugar content and high water content mean they'll go soft in 1 to 3 months, no matter how perfectly you handle them. You can cure them flawlessly, sort them like a surgeon, store them in a perfect cellar, they'll still be mush by Thanksgiving. Storage onions are a different animal entirely. Capra stores 10 to 12 months, Patterson goes 8 to 10, Stuttgarter 8 to 10, Yellow Globe 6 to 8. These are the varieties the Amish grow. Not because they taste better out of the ground, because they last. Storage life is a variety decision that starts when you pick your seeds in January, not when you pull the bulb in August. If you're growing sweet onions and expecting them to carry you through winter, no technique on earth will save you. That's not a failure of method, that's biology. But when the right variety meets all 7 steps, something starts to happen month by month in that cellar, and it tells you everything about how this system actually works over time. August through October, months 1 through 3. Every onion in the cellar is firm, silent. No issues, no casualties. You check every 2 weeks and find nothing to pull. The system runs clean. November through January, months 4 through 6. This is where the first losses show up. The thick-necked ones you kept because they look too good to toss, they're softening. The ones with the tiny skin tier you decided didn't matter, done. If you sorted properly back in August, those are already in your kitchen, long used up. If you didn't, they're spreading trouble through the crate. Bi-weekly inspections matter more now than at any other point. February through April, months 7 through 9, the sweet onions are long gone. If you planted them, they didn't survive past fall. But the copras, the Pattersons, still firm, some outer skin loosening, maybe 1 or 2 showing the faintest start of a green tip. That's normal. Pull those and use them next. The rest hold steady. May through July, months 10 through 12. You're at the outer edge now. The last surviving onions may show early sprouting. Use them promptly. And by this point, the new crop in the garden is already pushing up green tops. The cycle begins again. Hold on. Think about what this actually means for a family with no car ride to a grocery store, no Amazon Fresh, no Instacart delivery. A family of 12 in Lancaster County in January when the ground is frozen solid and the garden has been dead for months. Without stored onions, every soup is flat. Every stew is missing its backbone. Every skillet dinner is bland. Onions aren't a garnish for the Amish. They're structural. They're in every meal, every day for an entire year. When failure means 7 months without a staple ingredient for 12 people, you don't skip a step. You don't rush curing. You don't eyeball the neck check. You don't toss thick necks in with the keepers because they look fine. You do it right because you cannot afford to do it over. There is no backup plan. There is no store run. There's the cellar, and there's nothing. That's not a hobby. That's food security, engineered by 150 years of consequence. Every single step in this system was refined by families who learned the hard way what happens when you cut a corner. And the strangest part? Everything they perfected over a century and a half you can replicate in your very first season, with nothing more than patience, attention, and a 2-second squeeze. So remember the crisper drawer, the one you opened at the start of this? Look at it differently now. That soft onion leaking in the back of the fridge wasn't defective. It was never given a chance. Wrong humidity, wrong airflow, wrong container, wrong room. Every condition working against it from the moment you brought it home. Now you know why. 7 steps. Timing, curing, the neck check, sorting, separation, environment, inspection. None of them cost a dime. None of them require technology the Amish don't have, and together they turn a vegetable that rots in your kitchen in 3 weeks into one that lasts 10 months in a cellar with a dirt floor. Out of everything we covered today, one thing keeps coming back to me. The neck check. 2 fingers, 2 seconds. A hard line between an onion that stores and an onion that doesn't. Once you've done it a few times, your hands know the answer before your brain finishes asking the question, and every time you pull a firm, perfect onion out of storage in February while your neighbors are buying a soggy bag at the store, you'll know exactly why yours made it and theirs didn't. This isn't about the Amish being quaint or old-fashioned or charmingly low-tech. This is a community that solved a problem so completely that modern technology hasn't improved on their answer. Your refrigerator, with all its compressors and sensors and sealed compartments, cannot do what a dirt floor cellar, some newspaper, and a pair of experienced hands can do. And there's something worth sitting with in that fact. What are you storing this year? Do you already cure your onions, or is this your first season trying it? Drop it in the comments. And if your grandmother had her own method, braiding, newspaper layers, a cardboard box in the coldest corner of the basement with a rag draped over the window, I want to hear about it. Those methods weren't old wives' tales. They were science before anybody called it science. If this changed how you think about what's sitting in your kitchen right now, hit that like button. And if you know somebody who buys onions every 2 weeks because theirs keep going bad, send them this. Seriously, this is the kind of thing that actually makes a difference in someone's daily life. 73% of the people watching this right now aren't subscribed. That means YouTube won't show you the next one when it drops. Subscribing is free, takes half a second, and next week we're going deeper into something the Amish have been doing with root vegetables that most of us have completely forgotten about. You don't want to miss that one.